Fast and furious to the tune of what has become a big-time blowout in progress. And we'll be back with you shortly.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to 2K Sports, the halftime show. Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith. Boy, we have a lot to discuss. Some incredible work in this one by Blake Griffin. He had 16 points, 4 assists, and 1 block. Taking a look at the Pistons, Shaq, what did you think?
Well, they were really in attack mode. The most telling stat is how many times they got to the free throw line. They weren't all afraid to get their hand and get those elbows dirty. You know I'm a specialist when it comes to the elbows, Ernie.
Kenny, what was your takeaway on Charlotte?
Percentage-wise, they were in the low 30s. That's right, low 30s from beyond the arc. That won't get it done. Every team in the league now relies on some level of consistent production from the three-point line. But if you dug yourself a hole and you aren't a three-point shooting team, that needs to change.
And that should do it. With the second half about to begin, let's send you back to Kevin Harlan. Go back to Kevin Harlan. Go. Just go over there.
And we'll have the start of the fourth quarter for you as soon as we get back from this short break. For David Aldridge, Greg Anthony, and Steve Smith, and the rest of our terrific 2K Sports crew, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a great evening. So.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello, folks. Good to have you back. Ernie Johnson with Kenny the Jet Smith and the Big Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal. Welcome to the NBA Halftime Show on 2K Sports. It was Colin Sexton who got hot in the first. He had 11 points, 5 assists, and 1 steal. Kenny, your thoughts? How are the Cavaliers playing?
Well, so far they won the battle of assists. They played more patiently and very unselfish in the first half. Good shot selection and nice flow of offense.
Shaq, what was your takeaway on Toronto?
Well, if you can't shoot the ball, you might want to stop chucking it up. They keep trying the three, but it's not going down. They're relying too much on the three ball. Way too much. It's good when it's falling for you, but when it's not, you have to try something else.
And that'll about do it as we get ready for the second half. Let's take you down to Kevin Harlan.
Shout out to my man Joel.
Joel, what up?
It is fun to watch.
And so it's the Cleveland Cavaliers in the driver's seat, up 8 points at the end of the quarter. They've dictated the pace, pushed the ball at every chance, and it's paying off for them. And we'll be right back after this.
Easy choice tonight. Look at the precision on this pass. Put it on a platter for him.
And when you're the beneficiary of a pass that good, you better deliver, and he did just that.
Love has molded himself into a dynamic scorer.
And now the presentation of our Jordan Player of the Game, Kevin Love.
And he's put on a terrific show of skill in the paint. A combination of moves, footwork, and that soft touch down low. It's all added up to one dominant performance for the big fella.
Well, he needed a game like this, man. He's been struggling for Greg Anthony, Doris Burke, and David Aldridge. This is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you next time. Brooklyn ahead, up 2. After this break, we'll be back with the start of the second quarter on 2K Sports.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello, folks. Good to have you back. Ernie Johnson with Kenny the Jet Smith and the Big Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal. Welcome to the NBA Halftime Show on 2K Sports. Kevin Durant was on fire in the first half. He had 18 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 steal. In their previous game, he had a performance he said he wanted to put behind him quickly, and so far he's doing just that with the nice first half he had here. Let's start with you, Shaq. What'd you think about the Nets?
I'll tell you what happened in the first half. Kevin, D-U-R-A-N, I don't know how to spell it, but Kevin Durant. We know about his length. We now know he's a lot stronger, the way he finishes plays, and he does it on both ends. Terrific effort. He's a defensive man now.
And Kenny, let's get your input on the Pacers.
Well, obviously, they didn't show up on the glass at all. They were getting outworked, out-hustled, and outplayed. And their competition showed just the opposite. They wanted it more. You can't give up a ton of extra possessions in a game like this and expect to win.
And that does it for our halftime show. We now take you back to Kevin Harlan for the start of the third period.
Riding his performance right now. We'll take a quick break and then back to the action here.
And definitely deserving of the prize tonight. How about the read he made here? Looking like a point guard, putting the pass right on the money.
Terrific versatility coming
Joining
from a
us,
big man.
that'll do it for now. For Greg Anthony, Clark Kellogg, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for watching this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. We'll see you next time. He's finding the bottom of the bucket, and we'll be back with you shortly.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello, you're watching the NBA Halftime Show on 2K Sports. Ernie Johnson here at this beautiful table. This is a beautiful, beautiful table.
What is this, oak?
It is. It's, I think it's teak.
Oh, teak.
There's Shaq. There's Kenny.
Polished oak.
Teak. It's
Polished
very
teak.
nice. It's very
Is it,
nice.
You mean antique?
No, it's just teak.
Teak.
I have an ante.
A tremendous game we're seeing from Jabari Parker. He had 14 points, 4 assists, and 1 block. Kenny, what was your take on Atlanta?
They have run their offense straight out of a coach's textbook tonight. Both ball and player movement have been excellent. And the result of all that movement, almost all high-quality shots they're generating. It's pretty to watch. Very good fundamental basketball.
Shaq, what did you think about New York?
Way too soft in the paint defensively. They were all late on their rotations. Obviously, that's a recipe for getting cooked. And you know, I like eating that barbecue chicken. They got to do better, Ernie.
And that's going to do it for us here. The second half of action is coming your way.
Has allowed them to build this healthy lead. We've got more NBA basketball coming your way in just a minute.
And the definition of teamwork right there, guys. I mean, what great communication between them, and what a beautiful feed.
Fundamental basketball. Keep your eyes up. Keep the ball moving. You're going to keep the defense on his heels.
For Greg Anthony, David Aldridge, Steve Smith, and the rest of our terrific 2K Sports crew, This is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. We'll be right back.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello again, Hoop fans. NBA halftime show on 2K Sports. EJ, Shaq, Jet. A tremendous game we're seeing from Giannis Antetokounmpo. He had 14 points, 2 assists, and 4 rebounds. Shaq, let's get your take on Milwaukee.
You got to like their offense efficiency. They were patient, took good shots. That was reflected in their high field goal percentage. They just need to keep playing smart in the second half and close this thing out. Don't get cute now.
Kenny, how'd you think the Celtics were playing?
Well, I think they could be way more physical than they have been in the first half. Their defense gave up way too many easy looks, and that kind of defense will turn to a loss any night.
And that should do it. With the second half about to begin, let's send you back to Kevin Harlan. Go back to Kevin Harlan. Go. Just go over there.
To present our Jordan player of the game, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
And what an amazing ball game we've seen from him. It's been a one-man show worth the price of admission all by itself. There wasn't anything he couldn't do on that court tonight.
And we've got an update here, joining us. That'll do it for now. For Greg Anthony, Clark Kellogg, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for watching this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. See you next time. And we'll be back with you right after this.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hey, folks, welcome back. Ernie Johnson alongside the Jet. That's Kenny Smith. The Diesel, that's Shaquille O'Neal. A lot of big-time action so far in this one. It was a closely contested first quarter for Chicago. They were on a nice little roll in that opening period as they got their lead up as high as 7 points. They couldn't hold on to the slim lead they had at the start of the second quarter and headed into the locker room with the game all knotted up. And Kenny, what did you think about what you saw from Chicago?
Well, I thought that turning point was when the bench came in. Those guys really hustled, and they gave the team some energy, and then they started to score baskets. That was a bonus.
And Shaq, let's get your input on the Magic.
The thing I like was how they were making a conscious effort to work the ball inside. They should do the same in the second half. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Whether running the offense through the post, driving it, doesn't matter. Get to the rim, and the rest will take care of itself.
And that's going to do it for us here. The second half of action is coming your way.
Yeah, an easy choice tonight. Look at the precision on this pass. Put it on a platter for him.
Yeah, he put it on the platter, and it was served cold. Now, I love the poise, the decisiveness. This is how you run an offense.
Now is our Jordan player of the game, Aaron Gordon.
And it's been a ridiculous performance in the best sense possible. I mean, everything about his game has been working. And no matter what they've thrown at him, he's had the answer.
If he could only contribute like this for them every night, you can't overstate how much better it makes this team when he has a game like this, and on the road no less. Wraps it up. For Greg Anthony, Chris Webber, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for watching the NBA, presented by 2K Sports. We'll see you next time. Have a great evening.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello, folks. Good to have you back. Ernie Johnson with Kenny the Jet Smith and the Big Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal. Welcome to the NBA Halftime Show on 2K Sports. Andrew Wiggins was the man in the first. He had 12 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. And, Kenny, what did you see out there from the Timberwolves?
Well, they were completely in rhythm shooting the basketball. Just watching the flow of their offense, everything clicked into place. Fantastic shot selection. They took advantage of everything the defense gave them.
Shaq, let's get your thoughts on San Antonio.
Well, their sloppy play really surprised me, especially the turnovers. No matter who they had out there, they never seemed to be on the same page. Their only hope is to make every possession count, and that means taking care of the ball.
Thanks for joining us, folks. We're now just a few minutes away from the start of the third quarter.
And so it's Minnesota rolling along with a 27-point lead as we wrap up the quarter. They've had active hands and have forced a lot of turnovers in this one. We'll get right back to the action when we return.
And how about the big fella here showing us he's got some point guard skill here with the tremendous setup.
I'll tell you, in today's game, you want skill and decision-making at every position.
For now, for Doris Burke, David Aldridge, Greg Anthony, and the rest of our terrific 2K Sports crew, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a great evening. With 10 points total. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello, folks. Good to have you back. Ernie Johnson with Kenny the Jet Smith and the Big Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal. Welcome to the NBA Halftime Show on 2K Sports. The first quarter for the Trailblazers was fairly even. Their largest deficit of the period was just 4 points. They were right there within shouting distance the entire time. They had a slight edge on the scoreboard in the second quarter, but only by the slimmest of margins. What'd you think about Portland, Kenny?
Efficiency, I think that's big. That's a key to success. You got to protect the basketball. You can't make those risky passes that lead to highlight film dunks. So I thought it was a great job.
And Shaq, how'd you think the Jazz were playing?
They played some solid team basketball, Ernie. Pretty good. They were sharing the ball. We saw some nice feeds, a lot of movement. It wasn't 5 individuals out there. It was one cohesive unit, and they got the assist to show for it. Their rhythm was nice.
And that's a wrap. With the third quarter approaching, we now send you back to Kevin and the crew.
We're back in a moment.
I like the fact we get to see this pass one more time. A magnificent feed, and you love to see your off guard taking over the playmaking duties with this much skill.
Very unselfish
The way he can, just entering his prime, and the contract this team gave him might be a bit of a gamble, but it's one that could pay off in a huge way if he keeps improving.
Wraps it up. Now for Greg Anthony, Steve Smith, and David Aldridge. This is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for watching the NBA here on 2K Sports. See you later. So many of their points coming right at the rim. We come back right after this.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello, folks. Good to have you back. Ernie Johnson with Kenny the Jet Smith and the Big Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal. Welcome to the NBA Halftime Show on 2K Sports. It's Memphis out in front at the half. They have a narrow three-point lead. Kenny, what's your take?
Well, they were consistent from downtown. The playmakers found open shooters, and the shooters delivered and knocked down shots on a high level. In some ways, it came down to confidence. We'll see if they have that same swagger in the second half.
Shaq, what's your take on Sacramento?
Well, the reserves came in and played like starters. Gave them some big points off the bench. It'll be no surprise to see them get more minutes in the second half. They definitely deserve it. Though sometimes when you get more minutes, you get exposed. We shall see.
And that'll do it for our halftime report. Stay tuned for the second half, about to get underway.
Center, you're watching 2K Sports.
And the winner today, the big fella here with the sweetest of dimes. What a plus it is to have a post player who's got this ability to find.
You know, anytime a guy's in the post
Our Jordan
and the
player of
teammates...
the game, Marvin Bagley.
And he's up over 50% from the field here tonight. And that speaks to how solid his shot selection has been. Nothing forced and really no bad decisions. Just good, smart, offensive basketball.
The lift he got from this home crowd has been obvious. There's nothing fans love more than getting a big game out of someone other than one of their stars. This is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Rebounds. He was a star for him in that quarter. Right back after this break.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the NBA on 2K Sports. This is our halftime show. Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith. A competitive matchup for New Orleans in the first quarter. During one stretch, they trailed by 7, never falling behind too far. In the second quarter, they erased what had been a fairly big deficit at one point, and now here they are sitting on a 1-point halftime lead. Kenny, your thoughts, how the Pelicans are playing?
Well, they were lighting it up from 3, and that was the difference in the first half. They did a good job of running off screens, spotting up, and getting rid of the ball quickly. And their shot selection, solid.
Shaq, your take on the Lakers.
They did some good things, but the defense could have been much better. They allowed too many open looks, allowed the other team to make over half his shots. Some of that is not getting enough pressure on the ball, not really contesting at the rim. They look good, but not good enough.
And that'll do it for our halftime report. Stay tuned for the second half, about to get underway.
So it's New Orleans with a 6-point lead at the end of the quarter. They're playing a bruising game inside, and it's working for them. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Wide open with this feed. They had no chance to prevent that basket.
Yeah, that's just a brilliant read of the defense. I mean, it was also excellent anticipation of the movement of his teammates before the pass. Just great
player of the game, Jahlil Okafor.
And in terms of his shooting, this has been one of the more accurate performances you'll ever see. I mean, he's been in constant motion, creating a lot of good looks for himself.
But still, even when you're wide open, you expect to miss some of the
For
time.
Greg Anthony, Clark Kellogg, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for watching the NBA on 2K Sports. We'll see you later.